जुषमाणाना आगात् विश्वाचे भद्रासु मनस्यमाना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहत्वदेमा विदते सुवीराः त्वया जुष्ट ऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधाम इन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विनावुभावा दत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सराशुचया मेधा गन्धर्वेषु चायन्मनः दैवी ईं मेधा सरस्वती सामां मेधासुरभिर्जुषतागस्वाहा आमां मेधासुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्तां मयि मेधां मयि प्रजा मयि अग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजा मयीन्द्र इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजा मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। हरिः ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Jai Gurudev. You know, there is a story. Long time ago, there were only Vishnu and Shiva. So Shiva couldn't meet Vishnu and Vishnu could not meet Shiva because their shifts were all different. When one person shifts finishes, the other person would start. So there were only two states. One was the deep sleep state and the other was the Turiya state. So Vishnu is meditative, Shiva is deep sleep, dissolution, everything dissolves in it. So Vishnu thought, well, at least it is easy for Shiva, I can be sleeping, but how do I pass time? I should be awake all the time, so I do not have any company. So he said, let me do something, it is a bit boring. And then he thought, what should we do? And then he created some ideas, and that idea became Brahma. Then the dream state was thus born. In dream you can do whatever you want, isn't it? There is no limitation. So the dream of Vishnu was Brahma. And now Brahma had to create something because that was the idea of Vishnu. So Brahma took the support of Devi to create the universe. That is why the entire Prakriti is called as Mother Divine. That is why it is called Prakriti. So you and me are all part of Prakriti. We are the work of Brahma, who is nothing but a dream of Vishnu. So how real our life is. That is how insignificant we are. Are you getting what I am saying? Brahma himself is a dream of Vishnu, and we are Brahma's creation. And we think we are something. So, there are three types of joy. The first type of joy is that which we get from sensory pleasures, the senses. Whenever you attain a sensory pleasure, become aware that you are objectifying the source of pleasure and deriving the pleasure from that object. When you are craving for pleasure, even human beings, you make them an object. Whether it is taste, smell, sex, you objectify somebody, and from that object you want to take pleasure. This is the lowest type of joy, and this is the shortest living joy as well. This joy does not last long at all. So, remember, if you can't overcome your craving for pakoda or a cup of tea, what will you overcome this world? Knowing very well that it is a dream you are not able to overcome. So, the pleasure you get from the senses are transitory, the lowest type. They give only joy, they not even give a joy, they just tickle your senses and then they go away, that is all. The second type of pleasure is the pleasure of achievement. You climb the Himalayas, you run a marathon, or you raise funds for a charity, you build something for somebody, you become a volunteer, organize a big course. Those are all great things. The joy from this is much higher than the joy from the sensory pleasures. They need commitment. They need you coming out of your comfort zone. But there is also a trap there. Sometimes you get into that and you expect appreciation, recognition. I have seen so many people move out of the path because their hard work nobody recognized. I did so much, they don't even say a thank you to me. Or they said thank you to somebody else who did very little work. Yes, you put all the work, you did everything, but then with your attitude you lost it all. You didn't see it as an opportunity for you to give a direction to your rajas, for you to participate in a yajna. You said, I did this, I didn't get anything. You again converted the yajna into a karma. This is the second type of pleasure. And the third type of joy is the joy of freedom. The joy you get in sleep is the joy of freedom, because nothing binds you there. Freedom from obligation, freedom from commitment. Freedom itself is the end there. There is no freedom from. And this is the highest type of joy. And remember, when you attain the highest joy, you will also get the lower joys. You will not be exempted from them. You go for bliss, pakodas will come your way, somebody will give you, don't worry. You go for pakodas, bliss will stay somewhere else. So, aim for something at the highest. And you are capable of it, why not? Go for it. And especially when you know that the lower pleasures will anyway come to you. Are you getting what I am saying? So, this knowledge we are discussing is about the highest. We should feel so privileged that on such a special day we are discussing something so vital, so uplifting. and then put your commitment and attention in that direction. You will never be disappointed. Yeah. So, we saw last time about the wakeful state, the dream state and the deep sleep state. We thought the wakeful state is the most real state, dream is probably some half real, but deep sleep there is nothing real there, everything is unconscious. But look at it, look at the story which we heard before. The last state to come is the awake state. The first state was the state which you are not even aware of, which is the fourth state. From the Turiya came the dream state, from the dreamer came the wakeful person. So, this is the least important state, but this is also the most important state, because only in this state you can realize that this is the least important state. Are you with me? See, the beauty of this is only in the wakeful state all your faculties are alive and active, and it is only through these faculties you experience the highest. Only when you pass all these aside you will realize I am none of these. When these do not even exist, like in your deep sleep, there is nothing for you to experience also. So, even though the wakeful state is the dreamer's dream, is a very light and the most insignificant state, but it is also the state where your faculties are most active. So, this is the state through which you have the best possibility to perceive, that is, this is just a dream. Are you with me? Still not confused? And we think, well, that is not my experience, this is all real for me. Somebody in the silence course was asking this question, well, this is all nice in concept, but this is not my experience. What is your experience? Your concept plus perception becomes your experience, isn't it? You have an idea in your mind and you perceive something, and then that becomes your experience. Either your concept can be wrong or your perception can be wrong, or both can be wrong. So, your experience can be wrong, and this is so common. We see, you see the sun rising in the east, setting in the west. Does the sun rise and set somewhere? But you see, this is my experience, I can see it, the sun is there only. Yeah, you put a stick in a glass beaker, the stick appears bent, you know it is not bent, you have put it in just now, but it appears bent. Well, it is your experience, it is bent. Why is it not bent? Do you see? All that you experience is not real. Truth is beyond experience, because our experiences happen through our faculties, and our faculties have got limited ability to perceive. They can only perceive a little bit. The sound which you cannot hear, the dog can hear, the bat can hear, the light which you cannot see, the owl can see. That itself shows that you have got limitation in your perception, and when your perception is limited, your experience is limited as well. So, do not base everything on your experience. Inquire, question, go deeper into it. Then you say, oh, this is what it is. That is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. You listen, you reflect again and again, let it become a concept in you and marinate that concept in you. Keep it with you all the time, and one day the light bulb will switch on. Oh, this is living in the present moment. Until then what? Keep practicing, keep practicing. Do not be in a hurry, just stay. Yeah? I know one more thing. In the experiences, there is a experiencer and the experience. Now, I said the experience can be wrong, unreal. Experiencer is always real. See, as you grow old, your eyes, your faculties will all become weak. So, your experiences also change, but does the experiencer change? No. When you are young, maybe you not have too much knowledge. So, your experience may be different, but does the experiencer change? No. Is it all getting too complicated here? No, you understand. This is very simple, but very profound. Experiences change. Experiences are not reliable, but the experiencer stays and is reliable. So, stay with the experiencer and do not give too much importance to the experiences. You got it? Good. So, let us come to the shlokas. Before that, I think it is good to tell this one story. You all know this Ashtavakra story. Yeah? This very clearly demonstrates what is real, what is unreal. Yeah? I will quickly tell this for those who have not heard it. There is a king Ashtavakra, King Janaka, once had a very busy night. So, the next day morning when he came to this court, he was sleepy still. So, he was sitting, somebody was reading the reports, it was all boring, so he dozed off. And when he dozed off, he had a dream. In that dream, his kingdom was attacked, he was defeated, everything was taken away and he had to run for his life. He was running, so hungry, tired, scared, away from his family, from his soldiers. And then he couldn't find anything to eat. Finally, somewhere he found a small piece of bread or a chapati or a roti. Then he wanted to eat it. Then he was looking around, there were so many people like him, so he thought they may snatch it from him. So, he ran to a safe place somewhere to hide and eat. He was about to eat. A kite flew and picked it from his hand and went away. So, he said, "Ha!" And when he said, "Ha!" he suddenly woke up in the court. So, in the court he is awake and suddenly he is confused. Is this real or is that real? Am I dreaming now or was I dreaming? Is the king the dream or the beggar the dream? So, he was not able to convince himself that no, the king is the real, the beggar was a dream. He thought, what if the beggar was real and in the beggar's dream the king is like this? So, Ashtavakra comes to his rescue. Ashtavakra says, in your dream, were you there? Yes, I was there. Was the world there? Yes, the world was there. Now, are you here? Yes. Is the world here? Yes. So, your experience is true in both sides, but there is only one which is real, that is you. So, he said, neither that experience is real nor this experience is real, only you, the experiencer, is real. Na ye sach, na wo sach, tu sach hai. So, this is all the story, entire history of the Upanishad. It is always pointing at something which is obviously there, but you need to be told all these stories to make sure you get it. Yeah. So, the last shloka we did was the 6th one. 5th one we did, where we realized that in the sleep state, न कंचन कामं कामयते न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन एवानंदमयो हि आनंदभुक् चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञस्तृतीयपदा तृतीयपाद means that is the deep sleep state where there are no desires and there are no dreams, completely blank. Ekibhutah, the consciousness all comes together and as a seed holds the entire world in it. Anandabhuk, it is a blissful state and it feeds on bliss. Cheto Mukha, it is the source of the other two states. Deep sleep becomes a bit light, you dream. It becomes even more lighter, you wake up. So, it is all hidden in the deep sleep state, your wakeful state and the dream state. And it is called Prajna at the individual level, at the cosmic level it is called Ishvara. So, in the next shloka he describes Ishvara. Isha Sarveshvaraha, Esha Sarvagna Esho, Antaryami, Esha Yoni Sarvasya Prabhavapyayau, Hi Bhutanam. The cosmic deep sleep state is Sarveshvaraha, means it encompasses everything, everything is included in it. Sarvagna, it is all knowing. Antaryami, it is the essence of everything. Esha Yoni Sarvasya Prabhavapyayo, and within its womb the entire creation is hidden, rises and falls. Isn't it? When you go to deep sleep, your world falls, collapses. When you wake up, it rises again. And do you notice this is the same definition you give to God? When you define God, what do you say? Almighty, all pervading, all knowing, the creator of everything. This is what you say, and that is your deep sleep state. So, in deep sleep, you are God. That is, you are only given the definition. So, here is what it says. Esha Sarveshvaraha, Esha Sarvagnaha, Antaryami, Esha Yoni Sarvasya Prabhavapyayau Hi Bhutanam. All beings rise and fall in this. See, the deep sleep state is a much more real state than your waking state. Whatever the deep sleep state projects out, that is what you experience as the world. And you think that is my experience and that is real. Are you getting this? We think deep sleep is at the end of the wakeful state. Here he is saying wakeful state is at the end of the deep sleep state. It is all turning your world upside down. So, in this, whatever he has described, that is what we call as Purusha or the causal body. This is the definition of Purusha as well, isn't it? Sarveshvaraha, Sarvagna, Antaryami, Esha Yoni Sarvasya Prabhavap, everything comes and goes into that. So, this is the God of your understanding, which is nothing but the deep sleep state of the universe. And now we come to the most important shloka in the entire Upanishads. Among the 108 Upanishads, if you take everything, this is given as the crown shloka, because this has the essence of the universe. Then, see, so far we described what is bangle, what is chain, what is necklace. Now we are describing what is gold. Na antah pragnam, na bahish pragnam, na ubayata pragnam, na pragnana ghanam, na pragnam, na apragnam, adrishtam, avyavaharam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyayasaram, prapanchopashamam, shivam, shantam, advaitam, chaturtam manyate sa atma, sa vigneyaha. I think you should write it down, put it in your house somewhere. He says, who am I? What is Atma? Because now they are describing, if you remember the previous two classes, first they said everything is Brahman. Second shloka he said everything is Om. Then he says Brahman expresses itself in four ways. Then he spoke about the wakeful, the dream and the deep sleep. Now he is saying the fourth state, and this is the longest shloka. He is saying, what he is saying? First he says what the Atma is not, similar to Tattva Bodha. First he describes what is Anatma. Have you ever thought why they do this way? Why do you start off with a negativity rather than saying what it is? What do you think? Why do you think they are doing it this way? Because they are compassionate. Upanishads take you to the unknown through the known. All that you know is wrong, but they are telling you what you know and are telling that is not right. Are you getting their logic? Instead of telling something which is right, they are telling first what you think is right and telling you that is not right. Na antah prajnam. It is not the consciousness that is going inwards. Na bahish prajnam. It is not the consciousness that is going outwards. Na ubhayata prajnam. It is not the direction consciousness is going either inwards or outwards, in either direction. Na prajnana ghanam. It is not the consolidated single consciousness. So, by this what they are telling? It is not the dreamer. It is not the wakeful state. It is not even the deep sleep. Na prajnam. It is not awareness also. Na aprajnam. It is not forgetfulness also. Adrishtyam. It is not something which you can grasp from your senses. Somebody says, have you seen God? That the question itself is wrong. You cannot see or perceive God through your senses. That is what it is. Adrishta means it is beyond your senses. Senses, just we saw, have got limitation, and the divine is unlimited. How can you perceive something unlimited to a limited medium? So, adrishtyam. Avyavaharam. Vyavahara is transaction. To transact, there should be two. If there is only one, how can you transact? With whom will you transact? So, when you cannot, the divine or the fourth state is that which you cannot transact. It is not a commodity of transaction, because there is no two. When there is a transaction, there is an experience, and then there is an experience, there is an effect of good or bad, right or wrong. So, what this is saying is, though this is the source of the world, it does not transact with the world. Let us take this example. There is a screen, okay? On the screen the movie is projected. Now, without the screen the movie cannot be projected, but there is no relationship between the screen or the movie. Suppose in the movie there is a big explosion, a big fire, will the screen get burnt? No. So, there is fire, but the screen is not getting burnt. So, even though the screen is essential for the movie, the screen is in no way connected to the movie. Avyavaharam, you cannot have transaction with the Atman. Today we were discussing in the advanced the 7 layers of existence. In that the Atman is the 7th layer. It does not transact with the other 6 layers. The other 6 layers, they all transact with each other and with the world. The 7th only sees this transaction. but without the seventh, the other six cannot exist. But the seventh is not connected to the six, it only is the observer of the six. Are you getting this? Sometimes I think whether I should discuss all this with you or not, or I am just making you more confused. Agrahyam, you cannot grasp it. You cannot say, oh, I know it, you can't say that. Alakshanam, it has got no attributes, which means you can't describe it also. Achintyam, it is beyond thought. Avyapadeshyam, you cannot describe it, it is beyond words. Ekatma pratyaya saram, it is just the feeling of I am. Ekatma pratyaya saram, the essence of this is what? I am. Everything else is a dream, everything else is a falsity. The only real is I am, and you say I am and you see the depth of yourself. Something strong in you stands up, and that is you, that is the Atma. Ekatma pratyaya saram. When this I am stops there, that is truth. When this links to the world, it becomes false. When you link it to your components and say, I am rich, I am beautiful, I am brilliant, I am intelligent, whatever you add after that becomes unreal, because that is only a dependent reality. The only independent reality is that I am. Prapanchopashamam, end of the word. Prapancha means what? That which is formed of the five elements is prapancha. When the world of five elements disappears or collapses or dissolves, only then you will experience this properly. There are two states where prapanchopashamam happens. One is in deep sleep, the other is in meditation or turiya. But in deep sleep there is no awareness also. The prapancha has gone and you are not even aware. You are not aware that prapancha has gone. But here you can feel the prapancha moving away, dissolving. Upashamana means the impact it has on you subsiding. Every time you meditate and wake up, have you noticed for a few seconds the world appears dreamlike, then it becomes real after a while, even when you wake up. What has happened? The prapancha which has all slept off, you are waking it up slowly. Suprabhata is to wake up the God in you, but you wake up the world with Suprabhata. So, prapanchopashamam. Now he says, what is it really? Shantam. When you are in touch with that, you are in total peace, absolutely rested. Shivam, it is the most benevolent state. There can't be more divine state than that. There can't be a more honorable state than that. It is so auspicious. Shivam. Advaitam. There is no two there, it is only one. It continues, it is continuous. Chaturtham iti manyate. It can be called as the fourth state. Sa Atma. This Atma can be called as this fourth state. Sa Vigneyaha. You should know this. The Upanishad emphasizes what? You should seek and you should know this. It is very important for you to know this. This may appear complex, complicated, impractical, Unreal, that is all your perception, that is all only your experience. You should strive hard and put your life in trying to understand this. Then you will see that the world turns upside down. Krishna explains the same thing very beautifully in the Purushottama Yoga. In chapter 15, Krishna describes a huge banyan tree with the roots going to the sky and the branches going to the ground. This is what it means. Your world, you are always looking upside down, but it is actually the right side up. You think it is upside down. You think the waking state is the most real state, and here it is saying it is the dream of the dreamer. Dream itself is unreal. Now this is the dream of the dreamer, like the Inception movie, dream within a dream. And he says, why are you giving so much importance to that? Somebody shouted at you, somebody made you sick, somebody made you worried. Just say it's a dream inside a dream. Then you say, no, I am experiencing all this. Yes, you are experiencing, because you are experiencing through the faculties which are limited anyway. If that was real, you should have been able to carry it to your deep sleep. You will only carry it to your dream, that is all, because dream is nothing but a reflection of your wakeful state. Or in the other way around, your wakeful state is just a reflection of your dream state. And what is real is this. Shivam Shantam Advaitam Ananda Rupam. This is what it is. The only non-dual thing is the only reality. Yeah? Okay. I think this much is enough for today. You have to digest this. Huh? We have broken too many concepts today. We made you all confused as well. So just reflect on it. Even though it becomes a concept, that is okay, stay with it. So we now just come to the end of what is Brahman. Then from next time we will try to link Brahman with Om, and then you will be even more amazed. Oh my God, I am telling this every day and my world is inside this. How is this possible? So now when you are doing the discussion, also be aware that I am just speaking in my dream. Be with that distant state. Yeah, those who don't like to talk, don't want to discuss, you may stay quiet. That's okay. Whoever want to say something, you can say.
If everything is unreal, then the existence, the meaning of it is becomes very difficult to grasp.
There is no meaning to existence. It is just a play. There is no purpose to life, there is no meaning to existence. If at all there is a purpose, is to make you realize that there is no purpose. Stay with these things. These are good questions. You need to go deeper into it. Just think about them again and again. We always keep asking silly questions. What is the stock market price? What is the IPL score? These questions won't take you anywhere. Ask these questions. And develop a conversation between you and your faculties. That is how you split up yourself. They say split personality is bad. This is how you get into yourself. Split yourself into you and your faculties. Speak to your emotions, speak to your mind, speak to your intellect. Okay.
Wakeful state is the weakest state, but this is the state where we can realize that this is the weakest state.
Correct. We can only realize that this state is unreal by being in this state only. Without this state, you can't realize it. That is the importance of this state. The physical body is the weakest aspect of your existence, but it's only through that you can get liberated. That's why it is so precious. The beings which have departed, who lost their physical body and have not got another body, they are very restless because they have got no means to become free. The mind can only function in the realm of a physical body. And the only way to get rid of karmas is when you execute it through the physical body. So, you need the body for that. That is the vehicle. Though you are not the car, without the car you can't get to your office. So, the car is important. But don't think you are the car. You are the driver of the car. Know that you are dreaming, that's okay. Don't see, you watch a movie, but you don't take it seriously, will you? Yeah, sometimes you cry, sometimes you laugh. The more immature you are, the more you cry and laugh with the movies. The more mature you are also, it's all just a movie. Why am I crying? So, you see, you pass it on. You watch the show, it is entertainment. But when you are able to see your life as an entertainment, even when all the horrible things are happening, that is growth. It's easy to see good things as a dream. It's very difficult to see unpleasant things happening as a dream. Yeah, so that's where you need that centeredness. That will come with more and more hollow and empty. That is the only way, there is no other way. Is that it? Anybody else has anything else to say? Very good. If there is no purpose, why do we exist? You find out. Or just to find out that there is no purpose. सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु।